You've seen this picture 1,000 times, right? The Taj Mahal in Agra, India. It's one of the most famous buildings on Earth, a masterpiece. But what if I told you that this incredible monument, sitting on 42 acres of land, is hiding some absolutely mind-blowing secrets? We're talking about a heartbreaking story, insane engineering, and even optical illusion.
Okay, so let's start with the biggest puzzle of all. The Taj Mahal is insanely heavy, and it was built right on the banks of a river, where the ground is basically soft mud. 400 years ago, without modern concrete or steel, this should have been completely impossible. So, how in the world did they pull it off?
And get this, it's not just the foundation that's brilliant. The entire building was designed to mess with your head. The architects weren't just trying to make something beautiful, they were trying to literally manipulate your perception of it. It's a masterpiece of illusion. All right, so let's dive into some of these secrets, starting with the very first impression the Taj Mahal makes when you see it in person. Imagine this. You walk through the main gate, and bam! There it is. It looks absolutely enormous, filling the entire frame. But then, as you start walking towards it, something strange happens. It actually starts to look smaller. It completely messes with your brain, and that's exactly what the architects wanted. It's an illusion designed to make you feel like you're stepping into another world.
But the tricks don't stop there. See those 4 towers, the minarets, at the corners? They look perfectly straight, right? Well, they're not. They were actually built to lean outwards just a tiny bit. Now, there are 2 genius reasons for this. First, it's an optical correction. From a distance, it makes them look perfectly upright. And second, and this is incredible, it's a safety feature. If there was ever a massive earthquake, the towers would fall away from the main tomb, protecting it from being crushed. How smart is that?
So why all this effort? Why the mind-bending illusions and impossible engineering? Well, to understand that, we have to go back in time. Because this isn't just a story about architecture. At its heart, it's a story about a devastating loss.
It all started with a 15-year-old prince named Khurram. He fell head over heels for a girl who would become his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. He eventually became Shah Jahan, the emperor of the world, and she was his absolute favorite. But after 19 years and 14 children together, their love story came to a tragic end. In 1631, Mumtaz Mahal died during childbirth.
And her death just shattered him. The stories say his grief was so overwhelming that he locked himself away for 2 years. No music, no fancy clothes, no perfume. His entire world had gone gray. And that profound sadness, that heartbreak, became the fuel for everything that came next. You see, before she passed away, Mumtaz Mahal asked her husband for one last thing.
She made him promise to build a tomb for her, the most beautiful tomb the world had ever seen. Now, this wasn't just a casual request. It was a dying wish, and that's the key here. The Taj Mahal wasn't some vanity project. It was an emperor trying to fulfill the last promise he ever made to the love of his life. He was ready to pour his entire soul and the entire fortune of his empire into making it happen.
But making that dream a reality, well, that was going to be a monumental challenge, requiring an effort that is almost impossible to wrap your head around.
Just try to process these numbers. 6 months after his wife's death, work began. It took 20,000 laborers and craftsmen, over 1,000 elephants to haul the marble, and 22 straight years of work to get it done. 22 years.
And the cost? It was staggering. It basically bankrupted the royal treasury. In today's money, we're talking about over $1 billion. But to Shah Jahan, the cost didn't matter one bit. All that mattered was keeping his promise.
So let's go back to that impossible foundation problem. How did they solve it? Well, this is where the genius really kicks in. Instead of building on the soft soil, they dug through it. They dug a series of massive wells all the way down until they hit solid, dry earth. Then they filled those wells with rocks and rubble, creating these huge underground stone pillars. So they essentially built a brand new rock-solid foundation deep underground. Absolutely brilliant.
And that insane attention to detail is everywhere. All those beautiful, intricate floral designs you see, that's not paint. It's a technique called Pietra Dura, where they carve out the marble and inlay tiny, perfectly cut pieces of precious stones like jade, lapis lazuli, and turquoise. And get this, researchers even figured out the recipe for the glue they used. It was a special mix of molasses, lemon juice, and marble dust that has held those gems in place for almost 400 years.
So, after 22 long years of non-stop work, the promise was fulfilled. The tomb was complete. But the story isn't over, and honestly, this is where it takes a final heartbreaking turn.
One of the most magical things about the Taj is the special marble it's made from. It's not just a flat white, it actually seems to change color with the light. Before the sun comes up, it's like a dark silhouette. At sunrise, it glows with soft pinks and yellows. In the middle of the day, it's a brilliant, dazzling white. And as the sun sets, it turns to gold. It's almost like the building is alive.
But here's the cruel twist. Just 4 years after his life's work was finally finished, Shah Jahan was overthrown and imprisoned by his own son. He was locked away in a nearby fort for the last 8 years of his life, and from his little prison window, he could see the Taj Mahal. But he could never visit it again. When he finally died, he was buried right beside his wife, reunited at last in the incredible tomb he built for her.
Which leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? The Taj Mahal is known all over the world as this timeless monument to love. But for the very man who built it, it became a constant, beautiful, heartbreaking reminder of everything he had lost. A masterpiece he could see every single day, but never, ever touch again.